Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are completely demystifying how you actually find a meaningful business idea. We're going to focus on everything, from your own internal psychology all the way to market execution. If you've ever felt stuck sitting around waiting for a random stroke of genius to hit you, well, you're in the right place. We're throwing out that waiting game and replacing it with a proven, structured blueprint instead.
We've got 5 exact chronological phases to cover today. 1. Start with yourself. 2. Problems over solutions. 3. 4 critical questions. 4. Identify your true business. And finally, number 5, creating the new normal. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Start with yourself. We have to look inward first.
You know that whole random eureka moment thing? Yeah, completely forget about it. The foundation of a great idea actually starts by looking inward, way before you ever look at the market. Before starting a business, you've got to understand who you are. Look at your skills, your passions, your specific industry exposure. But honestly, the most important question is, what do you hate the most? Think deeply about your personal pain points. What literally frustrates you on a daily basis?
The really cool thing here is that brilliant businesses are often mined straight out of your own everyday annoyances. When you live a problem firsthand, you just understand all the little nuances so much better than anyone looking at it from the outside. That frustration you feel, that's actually incredibly valuable data.
The Oyo case study is a perfect illustration of this concept in action. The founder personally struggled to find affordable, decent quality hotels while he was traveling, but instead of just complaining about it, he turned that specific personal pain point into an actual solution. By solving his own frustration, he built something that scaled into a billion-dollar business. It literally all started with his own annoyance.
Moving into Section 2, Problems over Solutions. Let's see how this builds into a bigger picture.
Okay, this requires a massive paradigm shift. We are moving away from obsessing over the product and turning all our attention to the problem. Consider the solution-first approach. This is where you invent a random product in a vacuum and then desperately run around trying to find people to buy it. It has a ridiculously high failure rate. You want to avoid that trap entirely and instead adopt a problem-first approach. Discover a specific existing need first and then craft your solution entirely around it.
What's really fascinating is how we can categorize the absolute best problems to solve into 3 distinct buckets: painful, urgent, and passionate. Painful problems are incredible because people are willing to pay almost any amount to make that pain go away. Urgent problems, like meeting transportation right this second, demand immediate solutions, which is exactly how Uber capitalized on the market. And then we have passionate problems, which are all linked to identity, prestige, and desire. When someone buys a Rolls-Royce, they aren't just buying a way to get from point A to point B. They are buying status. You really want your business idea to fall into one of these 3 powerful categories.
Section 3. 4 critical questions. Time to validate your idea.
So, you've found a problem. Awesome. But now you have to validate your actual right to solve it in the real world by answering a few make-or-break questions. The first critical question is, why now? Why is this exact moment in time the perfect moment for your idea to exist? You absolutely cannot ignore the context of the world you're launching into.
This quote right here captures a foundational law of timing. The time you start a business truly can make you or break you. This was perfectly demonstrated by Airbnb. Think about it. They launched right during a massive economic downturn. People were losing their jobs left and right and desperately needed a way to earn extra income just to pay their mortgages. Airbnb allowed people to earn income from their homes precisely when they needed it the most. The why now was perfectly aligned with macroeconomic conditions.
The second question is, why me? Out of everyone on the planet, why are you the one to pull this off? You need to establish what we call your founder advantage. This means proving you deeply understand the problem or that you have unique industry connections and personal exposure. Ideally, you want to be one of the very few experts who truly grasps the landscape of this specific issue. Part of that why me advantage comes down to what you are actually building. Your product can't just be a little bit better than what's already out there. It must be 10 times better than the alternatives. When you create a 10x product, you aren't just the best option, you literally become the only obvious choice for consumers.
And creating that 10x product leads us straight into this concept of the monopoly market. Your goal is to have little or no competition. If competition does exist, you have to carve out a niche and completely own a specific subcategory. Like, you don't just open a fast food chain, you open a healthy food-only restaurant. Red Bull is an absolute masterclass in this.
They didn't just try to sell another soda, they created a monopoly market by owning an entire subcategory centered completely around extreme sports and energy.
The third critical question asks exactly who you are solving this problem for. You need to know if this is a short-term or a long-term problem for them, and crucially, you need to know whether these people are already paying for solutions in this space.
I'll tell you right now, the absolute worst answer to for whom is everyone. You simply cannot target everyone. The right answer needs to be hyper-specific, beautifully modeled here by Lululemon. The founder defined their ideal customer with crazy detail. A woman, around 32 years old, unmarried but wants to get married, exercises regularly, and owns a cat. Seriously, the more hyper-specific you are about your customer, the sharper and clearer your entire business strategy becomes.
Let's move to Section 4, Identify Your True Business. This is where we get into the deeper psychology.
We've reached the intellectual peak of this explainer, stepping back to understand what you are actually selling. Let's dive into this using what we'll call the Starbucks shift. This challenges you to move completely away from product-level thinking. Starbucks themselves famously state that they are not actually in the coffee business. They are in the people business.
Think about it. People don't just go there to buy a cup of roasted bean water. They buy the atmosphere. They buy comfort, a cozy feeling, a reliable place to pop open their laptops, and the entire coffee shop experience. Because Starbucks focuses on these deep experiential values rather than just the physical coffee bean, they keep their customers incredibly loyal, even if their actual physical products change over time. You need to figure out what your version of the coffee shop experience is.
And finally, Section 5, Creating the New Normal. Let's talk about changing behavior. This final section looks at how difficult your chosen problem is for others to solve. Think about the world before Uber. Getting a ride meant dealing with safety concerns, zero visibility of your car, totally uncertain pricing, and absolutely no tracking. It was a mess of a problem. Uber stepped in and introduced vehicle visibility, exact location tracking, transparent pricing, and greater trust. They literally replaced a world of uncertainty with total transparency.
And by doing that, they established a new normal, which we define here as creating solutions that not only meaningfully improve people's lives, but fundamentally change how they behave. Uber completely changed how human beings travel around cities. If your solution can create a better lifestyle and establish a new normal for your customers like that, the business opportunity you're sitting on is absolutely massive.
Let's pull this all together. Here is your final screenshot-worthy summary of the entire methodology we've covered today. Great businesses are built by understanding yourself first, finding real existing problems, focusing on needs that are painful, urgent, or passionate, validating your idea by knowing exactly why now, why you, and for whom, understanding the true experiential business you are actually in, and finally, creating solutions that meaningfully improve people's lives.
We've covered a ton of ground, but now it's time to bring it all back to where we started, you. Take a hard look at your own daily frustrations and ask yourself this final question. What personal pain point will you turn into a 10x solution today? Which one of those everyday annoyances you've been putting up with is secretly the exact blueprint for your future business? Really think about it. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.